All right, good morning traders. Welcome to the All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We're going to be going through live order flow analysis in Bookmap. The process here, understanding order flow and reading order flow. That's what the webinar is all about. Here, understanding order flow and reading order flow. So the goal here of reading the order flow is possible because of the way that we can read it in Bookmap and the way it visualizes the behavior of the participants in that auction process. That's what gives us insight to where price might go next, and that's what order flow is all about. All right, so general disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so one more thing. Before we move on into the live markets. Today, we have an onboarding webinar. We have it weekly. I'll provide the link for you here. It is in Zoom. It will also be on YouTube and in Discord. But it's probably best to go to the Zoom meeting because we can answer your questions more directly there. All right, so here it is, also in YouTube. Okay. All right, so this is really about the basics, getting you up and running in Bookmap, and then getting you connected to data and answering any questions that you have. All right, it's at 2 p.m. East Coast time. In fact, let me show you our new calendar here. Really proud of our new calendar. So let's go to bookmap.com. And then if we go to education here, and then just scroll down, or you can go to, join free live events here, and you'll see the onboarding here, register in Zoom. You can click on this, and you'll see the link in here, register on Zoom, and then you're good to go. All right, so that's it. There is another thing, notice in here, if we scroll down a little bit, for next Monday, the markets are closed. Okay, so it's President's Day, and the markets observe that here in the US. All right, so onboarding later today, 2 p.m., and you've got the link there. All right, let's jump in. Let's take a look at these markets and see what's going on. Good morning. Trading is live. Yeah, thanks for doing this, putting this pop out the webinar in Discord. I can demo that for you guys, but I also made a quick video for it. So it's unlisted, but let me put this into the chat as well. Okay, hold on just a minute. It just very briefly goes through it. I don't know if it's needed. But we have it in case people are confused, right? So here's the link to it. Good morning, Stephen. All right. Okay, so when you pop it out here in Discord, this will, no, thanks for putting it in and reminding me. I really appreciate Trading is Life. Really great work you've been creating in the Bookmap Academy as well. So thank you for that. Here it is here over in YouTube. If you guys happen to join us over in Discord, you basically just will pop out the, I'll show it here. Here we are in Discord, right? We're streaming in here. Here's the live stream right here. This is where you'd click and you'd watch this. Now you see the infinite mirror right now, but in the lower right hand corner, pop it out here. Okay, so that will pop out the stream in a new window. Then just scroll up to the All Markets webinar here, chat room, and this is where you can read the chat. and engage in the chat. Okay, we don't have the chat here. It's disengaged really. We don't really chat in this streaming room here. Okay, at least not for this webinar. Right, to pop it back in, just close it here and back in to Discord. All right. Okay, let's take a look at these markets. Powell is speaking as we speak. So the markets are going to be volatile. You can see that volatility right at 10 o'clock. And the move down, the move back up, the move right back down into, we've got some lines on the chart here that I was demoing, I think, yesterday. So I'm actually going to get rid of these. Let's go to our anchored VWAP and we'll dump this one. Yeah, we'll dump this one, but we'll keep the other VWAP here. We're just not going to show it right now. Okay, and then we have point of control as well, which just means, as you guys know, the most traded level at this time. Just be careful with the point of control. This one is actually pretty good. This is see how it is. The developing point of control is down here, which is looks like we're kind of trying to head there right now. And you know, it doesn't. This one's why I'm saying that this is not bad today, because this is showing where auction is taking place. It is more than down here. Now this one's going to start to develop more as well because we're down here. We'll see transactions probably down in here. All right, this might become the new point of control, and then our line will move back down here. Okay, you can see it moved from here on up to here. Right, and so what I'm trying to say is this: be very careful with your indicators, because if these you have several developing point of controls that are very similar to the point of control, then it doesn't take much for this to flip-flop all over the place. Right, so know where the trading is taking place. That really is the important element here. Okay? It's not a line on a chart that's important. It's understanding the concept of the volume that's trading relative to other areas. Okay, now for example, is this an opportunity? Okay, because this is exactly what we look for when we're trying to move away from point of control, is we're looking for volume to pick up. It takes volume to move, typically, doesn't have to, but typically, any move away from an area of value takes place on pretty strong volume. And you can see what's happening. So this is, at the moment, this is not an opportunity. It's actually more of a reverse or mean reversion opportunity. Down below the little swing here, knock some stops out. You can see 157, and then go right back to point of control, and then knock any of the sellers out here as well with 128 stops. And prices just moved down, hit a lot of stops, and moved right back up into this area. Right. So anyway, we look for typically is strong volume like this. Okay, and then we want to see very low volume on the buy side. Okay, and hitting high liquidity as well is pretty good. You can see here hitting this high liquidity, but we also get some strong buy volume coming back in, and we've retraced all the way back up to the initial move here to the downside. Okay, so now question is, are we going to accept up in here, or are we going to move away on, again, strong sell volume? Okay, we're starting to see some of that sell volume here. Okay, now I'm going to actually take a shot at this, and we've gotten our pullback here, and I'm going to look for sellers. There's some exhaustion, and the reason, I'll explain now. And this is not a trading room. I need to underscore that. It's about reading order flow. And then we want to also just talk about trade management. Now, why am I taking this? Okay, so especially during when Powell's speaking, which we don't know, price can go any which way. But just I want to show you a concept here. Is this point of control, or our most traded level? Okay, we've traded back down, we've traded back to it, but we really haven't traded above it yet. Okay, we might see a tremendous amount of volume come in here, right? But I'm not looking for that right now. I'm looking for it to kind of hold below. This is risky, just because Powell is speaking right now. But I also have something else to lean against here. I've got high liquidity up here. I'm also thinking that, well, we know that the news is fundamentally, it's pretty bad right now with tariff talks, etc. That I'm thinking there's more likelihood of retesting back down to this developing point of control than going to the upside here. Okay, so we don't know, and we're going to see, right? And we're going to see. Looks like the buyers are pretty poised to test this 74 liquidity right here, right now, and they are. Okay, and we're stopped out. Okay, that's fine. I started to see some of this strong sell volume come back in. I'm looking for them to hit it again and trade back down to this lower level here. Okay, so anyway, that was the reasoning for it, and we took a stop loss on that. We'll look for the next one. Okay, but I just want to demonstrate something in here about the strong selling down below, move back to it, and then seeing the strong selling again. I am looking for continuation. Probably not the best idea to trade during Powell speaking here. Okay, so we'll take a look again in here, and we're going to look for the volume to pick up. Morning, one good trade. Okay, anyway, not seeing much at the moment. Good morning, Dieter. Let's see here. I didn't pay too much attention to my stop loss. I like that it was above this liquidity here. This is something that we covered yesterday. If we go back and take a look at this in here, and this is exactly why we're showing trade management in here. It's not about the positioning so much as it is about covering trade management with the order flow. That's really the key here. Right, so we talked about this yesterday of like trading into high liquidity, and then we have maybe a tick or two on the other side here. Well, we got kind of stopped out near the top here. It went like maybe one more tick up, and then we kind of reversed here, back into the range. So let's consider this, and this is how we can start to optimize our trading strategies. Number one is maybe I should have waited for a little bit more sell volume in here. I thought I saw a little exhaustion in here and looking for that selling to pick up and move that market. And instead, they pulled it away from this little zone in here. Okay? And then we got kind of trapped. So entry, not so great. Stop loss, we covered this yesterday. So let's move forward and optimize some of these stop losses in here, and we can consider now maybe in the S&P a point above that high liquidity. Okay, so maybe 4 ticks, maybe 4 or 5 ticks, something like that. All right, now you'll have to assess the risk that you're taking, your target and your stop loss. Okay, but this is how we can go back and we can look at these areas in here. Okay, how often did that happen? Here's high liquidity in here, and it traded through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks or so. Okay, so somewhere maybe a point and a half below the high liquidity is a good guideline here. Okay, below the swing or below the high liquidity. All right, so we'll take that, and we can back test this by going back and taking a look at some of these areas in here. Okay, here's high liquidity in here. We trade into it, and we went 1, 2, 3 here. Okay, so see how I mean, it is such a simple, like, easy thing to put together and start to understand and optimize your trading strategy. Okay, so we'll look at other examples in here. I took some other trades in pre-market yeah, interesting one in here. I can cover this if you guys like. It's this is kind of an interesting little setup in here that actually ended up working out, but kind of like shook me out of it here at break even on one, and then I took a couple of take profits here just to the top of the range here. Okay, so I was just looking for the top of the range and then had a runner. Okay, trying to get maybe up to this liquidity up in here, which ended up happening, but we had to wait for the 9:30 cash open here. Anyway, yeah, this one was a little more convoluted. We note that we have the selling driving price away, but look at the buying pressure come right back and above where it dropped from. Okay, so in that case, we're looking for a pullback, getting in, and then taking some off at the top of the range, because we don't know if this might be like a double top and we get sellers coming back in again. Okay, but this is kind of the under over area right here, and that's what we're kind of watching. If we're above it, we're looking for bouncing off of it and continuation. Now, ultimately, it did it here, but we had to wait for the cash open for that. Okay, and I was not willing to do that. Let's see here. I took another shot at it here, I believe, and to get out. It was just a break even type of trade, or maybe just a couple ticks. Anyway, I don't see it. All right, let's jump back in here. So now with the event here with Powell testifying to the Senate and tomorrow to the House, there's going to be some volatility, as we had mentioned here. First, he reads a statement, and then there's a Q&A session. Okay, I don't know. I'm not watching it live. Maybe some of you guys are, but we can get some pretty erratic swings during the Q&A session. So taking a position at this time is not recommended. Okay? Unless you're watching that live event, what you're expecting or looking for a specific question, and then you're looking for the answer to that specific question. Okay, you have to be prepared for those events. Okay, and what if he does? How does he answer this way or that way? Believe me, traders are listening to every word, every detail. All right. Let's see here. Thank you, Alois. What's LT difference? Okay, so one good trade. We covered this yesterday. There was questions yesterday about imbalance in the order book and how to use it. We have the imbalance order book indicator up here in the top right. This is the center line here, and we see it like you'll see a skew here, like you'll see the percentage here as well. So like 10% right now. Okay, well, it just means that there's more on the bid than on the offer. And there's a calculation involved here as well. This indicator here is part of Global Plus. So you need to subscribe to Global Plus to get this add-on indicator as part of the bundle. Okay, I don't know, there's like 5 to 7 add-ons that you get with the Global Plus. Maybe it's more now as well. All right. So this is the liquidity tracker, LT difference. This is showing that order book as well, and it is showing you skews in that order book. So the It's really pretty interesting stuff, because you'll see, like, when there's more on the bid. Okay, where did that uh, take take hold? And like right here, I see quite a skew, but it's probably this down here, this liquidity. So it's just this little faint area in here, which is kind of funny. It might be lower as well, not sure, because right now the setting for this, and we can go to the setting. We can right click on this, I think, and go to the setting here. Yeah, and I have it for the entire book, but I have it weighted at a half-life every 20 ticks. Okay, meaning the first 20 ticks are more important, or weighted twice as much as the next 20. Right, so that's, and it will continue that way. The next 20 after that are half the life of that previous 20 levels. Okay, or you can put in a specific amount, whatever it is that you want. Right. So yeah, that's that. I was just demoing that yesterday, and yeah, you can see now, skew here on the offer, and it's interesting to see, like, these little areas in here. You'll see, like, it's this liquidity up here. See that? See a very high, over 1,000 here. One player has 1,000 lots up here. You can see there's a little bit to the right, which is probably 50 lots. That's probably about right. So one player came in here and totally skewed the order book, right? And the liquidity tracker picked that up. And now it's pretty far away from price, and you can see the reaction that market kind of wants it. The buyers are going after liquidity here. Now this guy has pulled at this price level. Okay? He's not here anymore. So this is what we want to avoid, is this: we just don't know during these kind of fundamental releases or events, economic events. Okay, this is a more complex event because of the Q&A, and it's a statement that's read in the beginning. All right, we have other ways of understanding order book skew as well. So we have order book imbalance indicators here. We have the liquidity tracker, which is part of this is the liquidity tracker pro version. We also have a free version that you can get. Okay, the pro version, and the difference between that and the free version is you can filter in for sizes in here. I can filter out, you can see the minimum I want to see is 15, or so either 15 or greater, basically. You'll see if I deselect this box, we'll get a totally different calculation, right? So that's the difference. So I'm looking for larger players, and I want to see that skew, right? So that's what the Liquidity Tracker Pro can do. The free version does not have that filter. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a nice little pullback and flag pattern in here, continuation pattern. Just like I said, though, like, I'm going to hold off on it. To me, it looks like it wants to trade up to 78.5 or 80. Okay, here we go. The and this is kind of what I was looking for before on the sell side. And we didn't get it. So the reason I'm just staying out of this one is, like I said, don't know what's going on with Powell in his hearing with the Senate. But it's fitting the bill here for pulling away from the point of control on high volume. All right, that's the liquidity tracker and the difference here. I want to show, I'm going to put CVD in here. There were questions also about the, someone had a question from our YouTube video yesterday, our YouTube recording, about showing the settings for TraderMap Pro. Because right now I'm on TraderMap Pro, which is again part of the MBO bundle. There's a TraderMap Lite version. Okay, so that's free. So you don't, have to have that MBO bundle. The bundle's nice because we bundle up a whole bunch of different indicators in there, stops and icebergs, which you can see here on the chart. We also have the Liquidity Tracker Pro, and we also have all of the Market Pulse, the complete set of algos for Market Pulse. All right, so anyway, I just want to show the setting here because it was requested. Okay, we'll go to TraderMap Pro here. And then you can see my setting here for the ES. I'll open it up. Okay, here it is here. Okay, so here's my my ES is right here, and Bookmap data, and then I have the sensitivity slider moved here to the pretty far to the right. Sorry, it looks like it's actually this one here. Yeah, it's this one here. And you can see the setting here move pretty far to the right. This one is not operating at the moment, so I'll just get rid of it. All right, so that's that. Yeah, we continue to move on up, and that larger player with 1,000 lot is now up here at 79. Looking pretty poised to trade here. He's kind of staying in the order book so far, right, where he moved his price up from here to now over to here, and there we go. Okay, there's our volatility. This is what we kind of wanted to avoid, was something like this. So I don't know what Powell is saying, but we just don't know, and it makes it kind of a challenging environment. All right. Go over another one, just recapping yesterday a bit with Market Pulse that is actually part of that MBO bundle as well. I'll show you where you can get it if you guys are interested. Let's see here. Where is our Market Pulse? Market Pulse is here. And this is the one that we demoed yesterday. So order book pressure. There's order book pressure here as well, but it's we have two different ones. One is for this indicator up here, and the other one is a separate indicator made for the order book, and the order book imbalance in here. Okay, so in fact, this is the one I want to demo, is the order book imbalance. Okay, so we're going to look at just the same thing the liquidity tracker was showing. Basically, it's different though. The difference here is that, let me go to settings and I'll show you. The half-life here is now 4 levels, okay, which we can use the slider here and go with whatever you want, right? You can put in, up to 1,000 levels, over 1,000 levels. Then we have a training period though. The data in the order book is only based off of 5 minutes of data. Okay, a constant streaming 5 minutes of data. And then we have a half-life period of 10 seconds. So same concepts we use again and again here with this half-life period. So 5 minutes of data, but every 10 seconds it will retrace back to half of the value. If no new, well, it doesn't matter if a new liquidity comes in the book or not. But suppose no liquidity comes in, and there was 500 in the order book, now it would be 250. Then after another 10 seconds, it would go down to 125. So let me know if you have any questions on that. Happy to go through it. And we're looking for a skew in the order book in here, right? You know, we're going to look at here we had, you know, to the upside. You can see the skew in the order book here. Also here, the green tips above 70 percentile, and then negative 70 percentile with the red tips down below in these areas. Look for, you can just line these up and go back in time and look at, was there an opportunity in here? Very range bound at the moment after this big move and pop to the upside and 862 stops. So a big stop run there. Okay, sellers coming in back to the initial move here. Okay, is that an opportunity? Traded into liquidity. Back into the range. All right, buyers, let's see if buyers can now reach to the other side of the range here. Okay, traded into this or rejected, and this is the you know, very similar to that Wyckoff spring that everyone likes. Slowdown is the one that really gravitated toward that Wyckoff spring and made a lot of content about it. Okay, there's something nice about the Wyckoff spring, which is just a, you know, basically a rejection below the range here. Come back in the range, get some people stopped out, which you can see here, 57. And then you'd look for the continuation of the trend here and the move to the top of the range now. Okay, now this one's not working out. As you can see, all it did was retrace to the middle of the range, and we can see that it did not really accept in here, and we're back down here again. The nice thing that in this setup in here, the nice thing I like is we have this really big move here. We come back to retest it, and there's liquidity on the bid here. We trade into it. We see the sellers in here, but we come back up into the range in here. I really thought we would get this to move to the other side of the range, and it still may. And it may do it right now, but we have liquidity. We have a stop run down below the range here, but we're still bullish here in this range. Okay, just haven't found enough buyers yet. Feel like I'm too zoomed in, Askar? Yeah, we can zoom out. The reason that we go over more lower time frames like this is we can go through many different examples, and these markets are fractal. Okay, so a setup in here, for example, I don't know, like a pullback maybe here in the bigger move, like we just went through it like 2 or 3 times. So instead, if it was one big move, well, it would probably be better to have a trade recap video instead of a live market webinar. Yeah, so that's exactly why we do it. And the more instances we can have of something. It's like playing poker or something. The more that you play, better you're going to get. Yeah, I struggle with this one because I'd love to show the higher time frames all the time, but there's just a lot less to cover then. All right, let's in fact, let's take a look at the higher time frame in Bookmap, and I want to show you this new alpha version that allows us to go back quite a bit in time here, up to 3 years. I'm not going to go back 3 years, but back some weeks, several weeks here. We've been covering this for quite a while now. Yeah, so here we go. So this is back to October 24th, and this isn't the continuous contract, I believe. See, yeah, see, it's not the continuous contract in here, so that's okay. I forgot to input it today. It's kind of something we're working on. It's a bit of a bug at the moment. Not a bug, but it's just we're not showing it. It's just the March contract that we're looking at in here, and not the continuous contract. Anyway, we can still see several weeks or months of data in here. Right, and then here's our move. This was FOMC on December 18th, and it's really been a kind of deciding factor in here for the markets. As you can see, it's traded above it, not by much. And you can see it's still hacking around within this area in here. And that really set the tone. Okay, this is exactly like what we were just looking at on that stop run to the upside. This move here set the tone for these several weeks in here. Right, so this concept here is fractal, ASCAR. So I hope you let me answer any questions if you need clarification on that. But this move here has set the tone. Okay, we can see it here in the order flow on the higher time frame. We drew this line in here as a trend line, and we broke it. And during this week here on Monday, you can see the little gap here over the weekend. On Monday, we were looking for this to continue or Monday or Tuesday, because we saw the stronger volume come in. We're looking for the retest back up here. Okay, so this is how you can use these same ideas on a weekly chart in order flow. And this would have worked out pretty well. The next week after that, well, you can see the sellers came in and moved it away from that to retest back down to here. This cluster of buying where it went back and forth before it broke out. Okay, and that's exactly where it went, right here, to the swing right here, just below it, and then it rejected and came back up. Now, this is where I think it's really interesting on the higher time frame. And one of our other streamers on our new calendar, I forgot to show you that. Let me show you that calendar, or I did show it to you, I'm sorry. Was earlier today we had or yesterday it was, we had Charles here, volume profile trader. Also Tom B, volume profile trader. So he's next actually in about an hour. So if you want to watch a profile within Bookmap, then this is the place to go. Okay. And Charles as well, he's once a week. Tom is like every weekday. So what Charles was showing, actually it was weeks ago, it was up in this area up in here, was it that the auction he was seeing on the higher time frame profile, there just wasn't buying interest of these higher highs. So we were finding, like, you can see it in here in the order flow, in the dips in here, you're finding buyers on the dips, but you're not finding buyers up in here. Okay, so this is kind of concerning here, and in the bigger picture, in the volume. Now we don't know, right? Like maybe you can start to see it picking up again in here. Nice cluster this week so far. But look at last week in here, nice cluster here, but we didn't make a higher high or even an equal high back up into this 6140 area. Okay, this week as well, we're seeing volume come in, but on the buy side, but we're not going anywhere. This typically, we look for a break of this little area here, probably around 6040 on high volume. And then we look for the move and retest back down to here, which would be about 100 points away in the S&P, down to 5940. Maybe even a bigger move down to here, 5822. Now, again, we're in a kind of an odd environment fundamentally or geopolitically. There's news cycles that are there are many news cycles within just one day, especially within the week. And there's all sorts of tweets. There's all sorts of banter back and forth that about these tariffs, that we're going to do it, we're not going to do it, we're going to delay it, we're going to add it to steel and aluminum. I mean, and then Europe is going to reciprocate with tariffs, etc. So that can lead to some volatility, and sometimes the technicals can get blown out due to the fundamental or geopolitical events. Right, so we don't know, but if we're not finding buyers up in here and there's no reason to find buyers, I would look for sellers to try to take it down. A bigger picture in here. We've seen this so many times on the much smaller time frame that we see that buyers start to trade up here a bit. They're not getting any traction though. We're not getting a higher high, okay? And we're not seeing buyers extend it higher here as well. All right, so it kind of rolls over, and we'll see the sellers maybe really pick up below some of this buying in here, and then look out. We should probably get a nice move to the downside. All right, let me know if you have any questions on that. That's our higher time frame analysis in here, and we can zoom in a little bit here and take a look what's going on today. I mean, today it looks pretty good. I mean, so far so good for a move back up to about 60.92 or so, back up to the high from yesterday. Okay, so let's go look at our higher time frame candlesticks. Here's our daily over here on the left. In the right, or I'm sorry, in the center, we have the hourly, and then the 15-minute on the right. All right, so what's going on here? Well, we just filled the gap here on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so are we still finding buyers up here, or are we going to find some sellers now after that gap is filled? Okay, so far so good. This move to the upside, as you can see. So not until we find some sellers would I be interested. Okay, now this is a nice little target up here around 88.5 or so. This is where those sellers came in and dropped price. Okay, and then we see the gap here. Right, so retesting this area here, let's see if there's high liquidity up here. That's how we can start to integrate on Bookmap. Okay, so 88, and actually let's jump back now to our Trader Map Pro version, and we'll take a look here at 88. Okay, so we're just trading up near it here. The high liquidity at 85, also here at 8 or 84, 85. And look at the buying up here. Okay, very little. Okay, so hope I addressed that question about being too zoomed in. Okay, we're coming back up. Do we find buyers again? The retest. Are we finding buyers? And this is where you level 2 and dome traders would be looking very, very closely here. I mean, look at this very paltry buying up in here and up here now as well. We're just not finding them, right? So now, do we get sellers on the downside here? Not yet. There's our buyers coming in. We higher high now on a little bit of buying pressure, not a whole lot. How do we spot strong selling? Is able to reverse the whole move up? Well, yeah, I mean, we start to look for that selling to come in, and we look for a combination of things. Askar, it's a great question. Okay, so like right now, look at the selling here. Look at the size of and color of the dots. Do we see them coming in? No, don't. Okay, do we see buyers coming in? A little bit more. Okay, so now this is one element in here. Now, actually, it's interesting. It's a great question because this is what it's all about. It's all about the price structure, okay, which we can see. We can divvy it up in many different ways. You know, you can look at trend lines or breaks of trend lines or channels. You can look at your Fibonacci's. You can look at VWAPs or moving averages or whatever it might be, or your pattern in here. But we want to understand what within that structure, market structure, where is the volume transacting? And then we also want to answer the question of where is the liquidity, because there's two different types of supply and demand. One of them is very obvious. It is the heat map here. These are limit sell orders up here. There are also limit sell orders in here on the offer, and they transacted. So what do we know now? We know that there's more buyer pressure in here than there is sellers because they traded into and through high liquidity. Okay, so buyers are in control of this move. So limit, where are the limit buys? Well, they're underneath. Okay, and you can see it here in the heat map faintly here. So they're not really bidding up too much. They're in this kind of bluish area here. The highest liquidity is down here at 78. Okay, in the order book right now. That's pretty far away. Okay, so we went over the limit orders here, sell side and buy side, and that is supply and demand. It's one type of supply and demand. It's the resting, the passive supply and demand. Now the other part is the aggressive, which is the volume, the transactions that take place. These are market buy orders here, lifting the offer. And we don't know how much demand they have. This is demand, the green dots. Red dots are supply. Okay, so now we're starting to see some supply come in, okay, from the aggressors, right? This might be where that we start to see that reversal. Do we see buyers come in and trade up into this high liquidity? No, not yet. Okay, here, look at this little area right in here. Now this can get upended really quickly. We see it all the time. We might get buyers back up above it and trade into that high liquidity. Okay, right now I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing those buyers. Okay, here they come. Here's a bit, right? So likely we'll trade into that high liquidity at 90. Okay, so how can we position ourselves then? All right, if you want to take a short, then now this would be a counter trend trade, and we'd be looking for a reversal here. It would be to look for selling here and looking for those sellers to drop the bottom edge out of this here. Okay, and because we have some selling down here, and now we're looking for them to pick it up and trade through this area down to here. Okay, so we're filled here at the bottom of the range, and now we might just get squeezed here and see a big stop run to the upside here. Okay, but we have something else to lean on at least, and that is we started to look at our higher time frame of like where these sellers came in initially. Okay, so now you can see we got kind of caught up in the squeeze here, and some people got stopped out here. Okay, but we're still in the game here because now we've traded into that high liquidity a little bit through it. Okay, so this is where the buyers here met the sellers. Demand met the supply. Now the question is the context. What happens after now? Because we know that they met. Okay, now there's just more demand coming in. Okay, more of that aggressive demand coming in right now. Okay, moving the market higher. Okay, and we're likely to get stopped out here. Okay, in fact, let's do this. So here's our high liquidity, and we're 2 ticks behind it. Okay, we're going to move it up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll be 5 ticks above it and up by this 93 liquidity instead. Okay, based on what we had noted last time and yesterday. Okay, so what we're looking for now is more supply to come in, and the supply is up here. Now what we want to see is I want to see this liquidity in here. I want to see them add again at this price level here at 92. I would like to see them add lower as well. So there's more supply, passive supply at a lower level here. And then I don't want to see buyers here. I want to see exhaustion, meaning that there's no transactions here by the buy side up here. You can see that we're getting them. They're still nibbling away up here. Okay, so and here they come, right? So we just traded into that liquidity now. Okay, so here comes some supply on the sell side now. Okay, back to the bottom of the range. In this move, though, we're kind of caught. Buyers are still in control here. Looking for sellers below this area in here. All right, so here's some exhaustion followed by sell side. Okay, so let's see these sellers now move it. Okay, let's see them move it to, I don't know, maybe down to this liquidity here at 86. Okay, or maybe more, maybe down to here, 85. So the next target is here, 87. This is where the liquidity is on the buy side, on the bid. Now that's assuming that we're going to get more sellers. Okay, let's see if we get more sellers here now to break this and trade down to 87. looks like they're going to test yesterday's high. Maybe. I don't know about that. I mean, like they may. I mean, these are pretty strong candles here on the buy side, and we're counter trend here. We had our reasons though. We had a gap fill, and then we've come up a little bit higher above it into this area here where the sellers came in, right? This is actually the move where the sellers really came in up here at 92. But I really like this, what was it, 88 and a half, I think here. Yeah, right in here. Okay, so we've kind of pushed through it, but let's see if we reject and come back down. So in pretty early here, a little too early, and caught up in the squeeze here, but we kind of stayed in the game here. And we can look at, for example, here we had a trend line here, right here, right? Well, we bounced off of it, and here's where it failed. It failed up here instead. Let's see, any questions? Discord? No. Okay, so now it's a bigger question in here. What kind of trader are you? What time frame are you trading off of? Like in this room in here, like I had said earlier, we're trying to go through as many examples as we can so we can learn from it, optimize our trading, and move forward. However, let's just take a look here. You know, if you're trading on a higher time frame, maybe you're looking for a move all the way back down to the point of control down here. That's not out of the question at all, right? So if that is the case, then you just move your take profit down there, okay, and look for this longer, higher time frame move to work out. Okay, or are you trading off a much smaller time frame, and it's already done kind of a measured move in here down to this 85 liquidity, just about, right? So let's just take a look at that, and this is what I mean here. Is this little area in here, okay, it is already moved. We can maybe make it a little bit bigger here. Take that, put it down to here, and you can see that yeah, you know, somewhere around in there, and the swings down here. Okay. So this is another way of managing your trade, and go back and don't take my word for it. Go back and study it, take a look at it, and you know, maybe you don't trade measured moves. Maybe you're looking at fib levels. Maybe you're looking at, you know, someplace like down here into this high liquidity at 84 or 85, and taking profit there. But whatever it is, you know, now you've got the move starting to go. Take some off, and manage the trade. And now you can trade micros, and that will allow you to that flexibility. The other way would be to move your stop down, okay, once you start to get in the clear. And I don't know if we're in the clear yet. It looks like it, but we're kind of sloshing around in here, and we see some back and forth. Okay, Askar, James, any other questions? Or over in Discord, any questions? Let's see, what's our higher time frame look like here? It's still, this is a strong move. There's no question about it, right? And we're counter trend trade here. Yeah, maybe 82 is a good place. I like this 85 in here just because of that high liquidity, as you can see here in the heat map. We traded into it. Okay, buying starting to mount. Now, do the buyers have traction? We have high liquidity up here at 88 or 89. Okay, low volume node, liquidity here. This is another good area to consider taking some profit. Okay, and so I'm kind of I'm holding here. Maybe I should just move my stop down, but like kind of holding here and looking for a flush through this area. I'll tell you why. I see the buying coming in, but they're making lower highs in here. We're not finding enough buyers to lift it. So do we find sellers here, try to squeeze the buyers and move down pretty quickly into like 81 liquidity or 80 down here? All right, let's put a little structure on it. Take a look. Okay, so this trend line broke. Okay, now this one's kind of holding, but see how we're starting to kind of flatten out and we're finding buyers here. Okay, so now they're starting to get some traction. So is this where we want to take our profit and just flatten? Because see how they're starting. This is what it looks like when we start to kind of initially see the reversal. Starts to flatten out. We're getting our little clusters of buying, but they still didn't have traction. But now we're making an equal high, and we're seeing the buyers in here. Okay, so we're just going to exit. Right, not worth seeing a quick move to the upside here. Just look for the next opportunity. Okay, James. So we're all caught up on questions. Any other markets you guys want to take a look at? Might be a little more interesting than the S&P. It's kind of flailing around a little bit in here. NASDAQ, sure. Take a look at the NASDAQ. Okay. The NQ. Yeah, I love this instrument. What I really like about it, I mean, it's a thinner market, of course, so we see a little more volatility, but we get that follow through we're looking for a little bit easier. Same order flow principles. Here's high liquidity. This is where the sellers met the buyers. Okay? And we see selling again here, but they really didn't drop the market very much. They dropped it maybe a little bit into some of this liquidity here. And then we see the buyers come in. Okay? So now, again, look at structure in here. Okay, so this is the liquidity that we're interested in. Okay, is it transacting? Okay, that's good. Where is the other liquidity on the offer? Well, it's up here. Okay, up in these areas, up in here. There's some in here as well starting to come in. But now look at the structure that we have right here. Okay, so this little structure was broken. We see buyers come back up to the top of it here. Now sellers are trying to break it again to the downside. If they do, then we're looking for a pretty nice move here down to the bottom to 30, 830, and then also 825, maybe 820. Well, this is turning into the battleground, the under over right here. Okay, buyers above it, sellers below it, buyers back up above it. Okay, and who's going to take control? Okay, very range bound now at the moment. We can see this again, kind of reversal pattern starting to turn around. Here's where our trend line broke, and now it's flattened out. Okay, so do we have clusters of buyers in here? Yep, here, here, and here, and here. But it's still back and forth in here. Sellers here, sellers here. Okay, obviously sellers all the way down in the downtrend. Okay, very typical. And then, but we're starting to note when putting this together here. And boy, let me jump back here to our education and the strategies and setups in here. It's this reversal pattern that we're talking about, and it's in diagram form here, so you can see it a little bit better. Right, so here's that selling into high liquidity, selling into high liquidity, a little bit cluster of buying starting to come in, things starting to flatten out here. You can see that the downtrend flattens, and then we trade into high liquidity. Then we see more buyers here, and we're making an equal high now. Now we're looking for low volume pullback on the sell side, and then buyers start to come in. Okay, so when I talk about buyers, I'm usually talking about the aggressors. So here's buyers here on the bid that transacted with the sellers. Okay, we also look for that, and we look for then the continuation move after that reversal. Okay, so this is we kind of left off in the area. This would be the right shoulder here. And now we want to take a look at this in here because it's not looking like it's going to hold. It looks to me like it's going to fail here. We're getting more sellers here, not buyers, right? We want to see less sellers here and more buyers in these areas here, and we're not. So it's all about the transactions and the order flow within the structure. That's what makes up the move. Okay, real big question here. Buyers or sellers here by the aggressors? I'm looking for sellers here. Let's see if they can break it now. Looks pretty good. Look for the break into 25 and 20 here. Now, again, it's not a trade recommendation. Just, that's what it looks like right now. They're still fighting it. There's somebody, larger player, hit the bid pretty hard here and move the market lower. So they're trying to get it to go lower. It looks like someone's selling here, and we hit some stops too. 22. Let's see if they sell again. Okay, typically, we see this, like we see that larger player behavior in here. One move. No, we're not seeing them come back in. Interesting. Kind of coaxes the market here, and then look for it again and again. Okay, where is this player? Another thing that's nice about the NASDAQ, I really like here, is the, a lot of times it nicely trades into, the high liquidity areas, and you'll see a bounce away from it. You can just go back and take a look at it in here. Each time we trade into high liquidity, we get a bounce. Okay, so high liquidity up here, bounce. Here are the sellers. Here's that guy, right? Okay, here's his behavior twice. Once, twice. Okay, let's see if he continues here and tries to get it back down maybe to the 800 here. I believe it's, that from what I've seen, I don't know. I don't have the accounts in front of me, but to me, it looks like it's a larger player that's pushing that market like that and stopping out a lot of people and trying to get the market to, accept going lower here. Okay, ES. I mean, these are such big markets. It's always kind of funny to say that, but let's see if we see the same behavior in here. Not really. ES is stronger, as you can see. All right, let me see. There is more questions. Just a moment. Troglodyte, welcome back. Does the short squeeze set up for the EU close? Maybe. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, what speculating on like who's open and what direction here for that European close. Potentially. Call me the caveman. All right. So this is where the reversal patterns can be kind of tricky. Not only here can it be tricky, and how it failed here. I mean, basically there's one last push here and then it failed, right? So sellers in control and looking for them to move, down into lower levels of liquidity here. What was I going to say? The other thing. So this is a failure of that pattern, but so it's more like a kind of turning into more of a continuation pattern is what it looks like to the downside. But like a lot of times what we see is see this little double top in here in the cluster. Well, a lot of times you will get the reversal. You'll get leg one. So maybe it would be over here really, or should be right around in here. You'll get leg one. Here, let me draw it to the upside, something like this. And it's looking like it's gonna, reverse here. You get a pullback to where it broke out from here. And then you'll get one more test back up here, but it just can't do leg two. And then that's when you'll see it fail, come back into the point of control. Maybe it bounces a little bit, but then you'll get continuation, right? We see this is what it looks like a lot of the time, is that failure or some sort of kind of retest like this. These can be really good patterns in here looking for the continuation. Okay, so because there's a lot of people that are going to be long, and they'll be squeezed down here below the swings, okay, or even in here, and then you can just see these really nice moves through those areas. Okay, funny. All right, it's still, this pattern is still evolving actually. It's turning into a bigger one, and this is what I'm seeing at least right now. Here is our selling, and those pockets of buying, and then more selling here, and then now we have an equal high here as well on some buying. So maybe this is turning into more kind of complex, multi-shoulder head and shoulders, or inverse head and shoulders. It's this selling in here, and then the buyers back up above it, and the cluster here of buying up here. Add in another column, insert column. Let's take a look at a chart range profile. Okay, is that a false breakout or is that a buying opportunity? You know now. Yeah, looking pretty good. Okay, up to 850. Let's see. Again, buying opportunity, breakdown. Boy, hard reads in here. This was looking pretty good for like a, you know, we thought in here buying opportunity or breakdown. Well, it happened really quickly. And then, you know, in here, you know, looking for those buyers yet again here. No, sellers coming right back at them. So it's you know, this to me was looking like we get a follow through to 850 pretty quickly here. We're not getting it. Okay, Caveman, sorry, maybe I misread the question or misunderstood the question about it. It looks like Alois answered it for you. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. Don't forget we have the onboarding webinar later. It is at 2 p.m. Hold on a minute. Bring that up. For those of you who are new to Bookmap, then come to the onboarding webinar. We'll get you up and running. You know how to download, log into bookmap.com, download, install, get connected to data, and add a symbol, and you're up and running. Right. So it is at 2 p.m. East Coast time. We've got the link for you, and I put it in the chat earlier, but I'll put it in again here. Hold on. And here. Oh, shoot. Is it? Okay. Go. Oh, that's the pop out. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. Let me find it again. It's the pop out video. Here we go. There you go. If you want to come to that, and we can answer your questions to get you up and running. All right. Okay, everyone. Thanks for coming here. Please, you know, hit the like button. Come over to our Discord channel. Check it out. There's a lot going on over there, especially in that Bookmap Academy room where, you know, it's a whole process we have set up for you guys to journalize your trading, become better traders, get coaching and feedback off of your content and your trades, so that then we even offer Bookmap for free in there. Okay, so if you make it through some of the process, so yeah, come on over and we will give you some feedback on your trading. Right? Thanks for coming, everybody. Yep. Take care. Bye bye.